Spectre is the 23rd installment in the James Bond franchise. And if 23 installments didn't make it obvious, James Bond has found much success over the years, ever since Dr. No came out. Many actors have worn the tuxedo over the years, but the most recent is Daniel Craig, who is now doing his 4th James Bond movie. And this is following up Skyfall, possibly the best James Bond movie ever made. So Spectre has a lot to live up to, and does this movie achieve it? No, not even close. Honestly, to me this movie was a pretty big disappointment. I wasn't expecting a Skyfall Part 2, but really this movie didn't give me anything really memorable or really anything that interesting to chew on. That's the sole problem with this movie. It's just not memorable. There is one amazing fight scene in a train because it's just so claustrophobic and it's very brutal and it really worked for the film. But other than that, this just didn't really move me in any way. To start off with the fight scenes, yeah, they're way more bombastic and larger than life than Skyfall. But some of these are absolutely ridiculous and don't really feel that real, which is something that the James Bond movies under Daniel Craig have been praised for. Outside of this scene in the train, none of these fight scenes are really that hard-hitting or impactful. Now, to be fair, they're entertaining enough. I don't get bored watching these fight scenes. They're not boring, they're just not spectacular. They're fun and watchable, but even then, my fun level isn't really that high. I'm always thinking, this could be better. This could be better done. Now, I have to get to the story. I understand, this is a James Bond movie. James Bond movies have never really been known for their story, but this was just weak. I don't even get what really was going on. It made sense internally, but logically, none of this made any sense whatsoever. And really, there's some serious flaws in the storytelling here. The first act sets it up like James Bond has some secret, which I guess gets sort of explained later on, but the secret really isn't that interesting, and even if it was a secret, which it really isn't because it's in a newspaper that anyone can read, it's really not that impactful to the story. When this revelation about his secret comes out, nothing really changes because of it. Everything just goes the way it would have if it was never mentioned. Also, I'm not going to spoil, but there's an attempt in the middle of this movie to tie all of the Daniel Craig Bonds together, and it is a wild failure. It does not make sense at all. And they don't even try to explain it at all. It just says, oh, this is why. Never gets mentioned again. It's honestly frustrating, because I feel like it actually diminishes the power of some of the other Daniel Craig Bond movies by saying, oh, all of that was because of this. It makes Skyfall almost less deep, which is actually kind of disturbing. I'm sure this review sounds super negative, but there are positives in this movie. Daniel Craig is still good as Bond, even though it doesn't seem like he's having as much fun as he did before. He's still enjoyable to watch, he's still a great James Bond, and the opening scene is pretty entertaining. Like I said, the action scenes are entertaining here. The movie's not boring. It is too long, but it's not boring. I will say, Dave Bautista was pretty great as the sidekick in this movie, kind of like an odd job kind of character. He was really good in that role, and like Odd Job, he doesn't really have any lines, and that is fine. I don't hate Dave Bautista's acting, but he's not a great actor, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. But he knows what he can do. He was great in Guardians of the Galaxy because he knew his limitations and he worked to his strengths. And he does the same here, and that's why he is still a compelling screen presence. But let's talk about the main villain, played by Christoph Waltz. Man, I love me some Christoph Waltz as a huge Tarantino fan. And it wasn't his fault in this movie. It really wasn't. He was wildly miscast. he should not have been this character at all. Don't get me wrong, he can't play C, who's a nothing, but he just can't, man. He just isn't right for this role at all. However, if you are a Bond fan, you will find things to like in this movie, such as I did. You get your Bond-isms. You get the things that you have to have a Bond movie. So, in a way, this movie was a success, because it was not horrible. It was a solid Bond movie, probably a middle-of-the-pack Bond movie, but still not terrible. So, I'm going to give it a C+. But that's all for me now. I want to hear what you all think about Spectre. Comment below. Did you like as much as Skyfall? Is Skyfall your favorite Bond movie? If it isn't, what is your favorite Bond movie? And, of course, don't forget to subscribe. It'll be somewhere on the screen. Wax on, wax off. Yeah. Peace out.